Take a quick look at these iconic singers, then versus now. From wild stages to silver streaks, some of these changes will seriously surprise you. Don't blink, you won't want to miss the last ones. Colin Blunstone's breathy vocals defined the Zombies on hits like Time of the Season. After the band initially split in the late 60s, he briefly worked at an insurance firm under the name Caroline to avoid recognition. Now, he is rightfully back on stage, touring globally with Rod Argent after their long overdue Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in 2019. As the creative force behind Pink Floyd's The Wall, Roger Waters built a legacy on alienation and architectural sounds. Following a decades-long bitter feud with David Gilmour that legally barred him from the band name, he remains a polarizing figure. Today, he tours massive solo productions and recently released a controversial solo re-recording of Dark Side of the Moon. Noddy Holder's mirrored top hat and lung-busting scream propelled Slade to glam rock dominance. While Merry Xmas Everybody reportedly generates over £500,000 annually for him in royalties alone, he walked away from the band in the early 90s to save his marriage. He now enjoys a quieter life, occasionally appearing on British television as a distinct personality. Ian Hunter led Mott the Hoople to immortality with the Bowie-penned anthem All the Young Dudes, famously never taking off his sunglasses. Despite severe tinnitus and health setbacks that forced him to cancel tours, he refuses to retire. He recently released the star-studded album Defiance Part 1, continuing to write rock anthems well into his 80s. Peter Noone was the face of the British invasion, with Herman's Hermits briefly outselling the Beatles in America in 1965. Escaping the typical rock excesses, he successfully pivoted to Broadway and hosting VH1's My Generation. Today, he maintains a grueling touring schedule, looking remarkably youthful and performing those sunny 60s hits to packed nostalgia crowds. Nick Lowe is the pub rock godfather who wrote the anthem What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding. A lucky cover of that song on the Bodyguard soundtrack handed him $1 million check, financing his transition into an elegant silver-haired crooner. He currently records with Los Straitjackets, trading power pop for sophisticated roots rock. Vincent Furnier, known globally as Alice Cooper, invented shock rock with guillotines and electric chairs. After nearly dying from alcohol abuse in the early 80s, he traded the bottle for a golf club, playing 6 days a week with a low handicap. He remains a touring machine, still beheading himself nightly while living as a devout Christian. Ian Anderson made the flute a heavy rock instrument with Jethro Tull's masterpiece, Aqualung. Outside of music, he built a surprisingly lucrative empire in salmon farming, worth millions. Despite a diagnosis of COPD attributed to years of stage smoke, he continues to perform, though he now focuses more on his flute playing to spare his aging vocal cords. Edgar Winter broke ground with the instrumental hit Frankenstein and was the first to strap a keyboard around his neck for stage mobility. A highly skilled multi-instrumentalist born with albinism, he has navigated a long career often overshadowed by his brother Johnny's blues legacy. He is currently touring with Ringo Starr's all-star band, showcasing his synthesizer wizardry. Mark Farner was the shirtless, athletic frontman of Grand Funk Railroad, selling out Shea Stadium faster than the Beatles. However, he was unceremoniously voted out of the band he founded, leading to a bitter legal war over the name rights. He now tours as Mark Farner's American Band, having survived a pacemaker surgery to keep his high-energy show alive. As the voice of the Guess Who, Burton Cummings belted out classics like American Woman before launching a successful solo career. He has spent recent years in a furious legal battle to stop former bandmates from using the group's name, labeling them a karaoke band. He recently returned to touring solo after recovering from a serious car accident in California. Dennis DeYoung brought theatrical pomp to Styx with hits like Come Sail Away, but his rock opera ambitions led to a hostile split from the band in 1999. The remaining members replaced him and refused to acknowledge his contributions for years. DeYoung recently released his final studio album, 26 East, Volume 2, intending to retire from recording while his voice remains pristine. Dion DiMucci defined Bronx street cool with Runaround Sue, but he is famously the sole survivor of the Winter Dance Party tour, having refused the plane ride that killed Buddy Holly to save $36. Now in his 80s, he has experienced a massive creative resurgence, releasing critically acclaimed blues albums featuring giants like Bruce Springsteen and Eric Clapton. Joe Walsh brought the grit to the Eagles, but his solo hit, Life's Been Good, satirized a reality of chainsawing hotel furniture and severe alcoholism. He sobered up in 1994, admitting he hadn't performed straight in 20 years. Today, he is Ringo Starr's brother-in-law and continues to shred on tour with the Eagles, maintaining his quirky, beloved persona. John Anderson's ethereal alto defined progressive rock with Yes, but he was controversially fired in 2008 following a near-fatal respiratory attack. The band callously replaced him with a tribute singer rather than pausing the tour. He has since recovered, forming his own version of the band and touring with the School of Rock to keep his intricate musical legacy alive. Lindsey Buckingham was the musical architect of Fleetwood Mac, channeling his breakup with Stevie Nicks into the rumor-filled Rumors album. In 2018, he was shockingly fired from the band he built, followed by open-heart surgery that temporarily damaged his vocal cords. He has since fought to regain his voice, releasing a self-titled solo album and touring smaller venues. Lou Gramm's powerhouse vocals drove Foreigner to the top of the charts, but a diagnosis of a benign brain tumor in 1997 derailed his career. The surgery and medication caused significant weight gain and forced him to completely relearn his singing technique. He recently announced his retirement from touring, finally stepping back to prioritize his health after years of struggle. Arlo Guthrie became a counterculture icon with the 18-minute storytelling epic Alice's Restaurant. After decades on the road, he suffered a series of strokes that impaired his ability to walk and play the guitar. In 2020, he officially announced his retirement, vanishing from the stage to live a quiet, private life in Florida, leaving his children to carry the musical torch. Barry Gibb is the last man standing of the Bee Gees, the falsetto voice that defined the disco era. He carries the heavy burden of having lost all three of his brothers, leaving him as the sole keeper of their massive catalog. He has found solace in country music, recently re-recording his greatest hits with Nashville stars like Dolly Parton and Jason Isbell. Brian Wilson is the tortured genius behind Pet Sounds, who spent years under the manipulative control of psychologist Eugene Landy. Following the death of his wife in 2024, it was announced that Wilson suffers from a neurocognitive disorder similar to dementia. He has been placed under a new conservatorship to manage his care, effectively marking the end of his public life.